Hello all, welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I'm going to cover the next topic, that is creating objects using a class in JavaScript. So let's get started. There are multiple ways of creating objects in JavaScript, and the other way is creating the objects with the help of a class. So what is a class first, okay? Before I explain how to create objects with the help of the class, let me explain what exactly is a class. Similar to other programming languages like Java, in JavaScript also, class will act like a template, or you can also call it as a blueprint, or you can also call it as a factory or a prototype for creating objects. Okay. In other programming languages, if you want to create objects, the only way is to use class. For example, in Java programming language, if you want to create objects with the help of class by using the class as a template or blueprint or factory, we need to create the objects. But in JavaScript, there are multiple ways of creating objects. But using the class also in JavaScript, we can create the objects similar to Java. Okay. So how can we use a class for creating the objects in JavaScript? I'm going to explain this in a practical way, and how to create the class, what should be there in the class, everything I'll cover here. Okay. So here for that, I'll launch the Visual Studio Code editor, and here let me create a JavaScript file class-demo some random name you give, and here create a class keyword you write, followed by the name of the class. For example, class user class. Okay, user class. Like this, create a class. Inside this class, okay, in JavaScript, when you create a class, and with the help of the class, if you want to create objects, first you need to, inside the class, you need to create a constructor. How to create a constructor? Using the constructor keyword, okay? Unlike other programming languages, if you are from Java language, the name of the constructor should match with the name of the class in Java language. But in JavaScript, the name of the constructor need not match with the name of the class. Rather, we have to use a keyword known as constructor keyword. Constructor space, give the name of the constructor. Okay, constructor space circular bracket you write like this, and provide circular brackets. Okay, you don't have to give the name for the constructor, guys. Neither the constructor will have its own name, or it don't have to match with the class name. Unlike Java kind of languages where the name of the constructor should match with the name of the class, but in JavaScript, by just using this constructor keyword and circular brackets and all, we can create a constructor, guys. And here in the inside the circular brackets, you can give the parameters for the constructor. Okay, for example, what does the name will contain? What does the user will contain? User will contain a name, and let's say user also will contain a experience. Let's assume that. Okay, or here employee, whatever the class you want to create. Okay, name and experience. For example, if you want to create a class with the name employee class, like this you can create, and the name of the employee, experience of the employee. Okay, now when you create the objects for this class, that particular object of the class should have its own name, its own experience. Okay, each and every object of the class should have its own name, its own experience. So this dot name, this means object, okay, current object of this class. Okay, whenever you create an object for the class, okay, uh, for example, here if you created one object, okay, created object, okay, and when you create this object of the class, and here this constructor will be called, okay, using the object creation statement, this constructor will be called. When the constructor is called during this object creation statement, this will stand for this particular object of the class. Okay, so the constructor is being called when you create the object, right? That object related name this is, okay? This dot name is object related name of the class is equal to the parameter. This name is parameter, but this dot name is, this is the object of the current class. Name is equal to name. We have to write like this, okay? This dot experience is equal to experience. We have to write, okay? Class employee constructor name experience. This dot name is equal to name. This dot experience is equal to experience. So if you are from Java programming language, this concept will be very understandable for you. Okay, whatever I have covered here will be very understandable for you, because this kind of notation is generally used in Java, guys. The only way to create objects in Java is with the help of the class. Okay, but here in JavaScript we have several ways of creating the objects, but class is also another way using which we can create objects. But if you want to understand this concept well, if you are from Java language, you can understand this better, guys. Otherwise, just follow the follow blindly without worrying about Java, whether you know Java or not. Simply create a class, and in that create a constructor. Don't worry what is happening and all. This means object of the current class. Okay, object of the current class. Okay, the name that belongs to the object of the current class. This particular object, this name. Another object, you create object name of that particular object. Okay, this will means current object of this particular class will be assigned with a parameter of the constructor. Okay, so when this particular constructor and also this constructor, along with this constructor, guys, I'll also create some methods here. Okay, inside the class, I'll create some methods. For example, I'll create a method like, say hi. Okay, or employee employee details, like that. I'll create a method here. Okay, I'll create a method like this. Inside the class, I'll create a method. Along with this constructor, I'll create a method like this. And inside this method, I'll write, whenever you call this method, what should be printed? Okay, your name is plus this dot name. Okay, plus and your experience is plus this dot experience you have tried. Okay, like this statement will be printed, guys. Okay, simple words. Now what I need to do is I want to create an object. With the help of this class, I want to create an object, guys. Okay, with the help of this particular class, I want to create an object. How to create an object with the help of this class? To create an object, okay, for this particular class, we have to use a keyword known as new keyword, and followed by the name of the class, employee. When I create an object for the class, you see, the new keyword will create an object for the class, new followed by the class name and followed by circular brackets. When I put circular brackets, this is a class name. Employee is a class name. New will create an object for this class name. But here, when you create an object, in this object creation statement, why did I put the circular brackets? If I put the circular brackets, the constructor of this employee class will be called. Okay, because of the circular brackets after the class name here, after the new keyword, this statement will call the constructor of this employee class. And you see, since you have created an object, you need to, okay, the moment you say new employee, what will happen here? The moment you say new employee, here, assume that to understand it visually, guys, assume that this is a computer memory. In the computer memory, some memory will be allocated for for this newly created object of the employee. Okay, using the new keyword, I create an object for the employee, and here I put circular brackets because this statement will call the constructor. While creating the object only, the constructor will be automatically called, guys, generally. Okay, the constructor need to be automatically called when you create an object. And here I need to pass this circular brackets cannot be empty, guys. We need to pass the arguments. Okay, this constructor cannot be empty because here in this constructor we have name and experience. I'll pass the name as Arun, and I'll Arun Moturi, and I'll give the experience as 19 years of experience, like that. Okay, so here the moment you create new employee and pass these arguments and all, some memory will be allocated for this object one. Okay, some object one got created. Okay, some object one got created, and some memory got allocated for this particular object in the entire computer memory. This memory got allocated. Once the memory got allocated for this particular object, I how to refer to this object memory? We need to refer like this. Okay, we need to refer to this. Someone need to know the address of this object. Okay, in the entire computer memory where the object memory has been allocated. For that, guys, okay, we need to refer to this address of this object. Okay, in object memory allocated to the object in the entire computer memory. And I'll just give some name here, guys. For example, I'll give the name as emp1. Okay, emp1. Emp1 is nothing but the object reference, guys. Here, if I say emp1 is equal to this, called as an object reference, I can put const or let whatever I want. Okay, const emp1 or let emp1 I can put, not a problem. Okay, now here how many objects I created, guys? Only one object I created, and the object reference which is referring to the memory location of the newly created object in the computer memory is emp1, and here the constructor will be automatically called where Arun Motor will go into the name and experience 19 will go into experience. And for this particular newly created object, this dot name will be Arun Moturi and this dot experience will become 19. So if I want to access this name and experience with the help of this object, okay, before that, what happens in the computer memory once you do like this here is here in this memory, computer memory, name is equal to Arun Motri will be stored, and experience is equal to 19 will be stored here. Okay. Now again, if I say new employee, And here Varun, I'll pass other details, Varun Dawat, and here let's say Varun Dawat having 11 years of experience. If I give and put a semicolon here, and if I say const emp2 is equal to, if I say here another object got created, how the another object will be created in this computer memory for the same class, another object got created, and in that, let's say this is object 2, this is object 2, object 2 got created, object 2 got created in that object 2. Okay, name is equal to Varun Dawat will be stored, and name is equal to Varun Dawat will be stored, and experience is equal to 11 will be stored, and who will be referring, an object reference will be referring to the address of this object for which memory has been allocated in this entire computer memory. That object reference is nothing but emp2, and you can create any number of objects, guys. Here I created only two objects using the new keyword, and the class name I created just two objects, and I call the constructor. While creating the object, only this particular constructor inside the employee class is called, and this arguments are being passed to these parameters of this constructor, and they are assigned to the, okay, this this object properties of this particular class. Okay, so here Arun Moturi and 19 belong to the object which is referred by this emp1 object reference. Varun Dawat 11 referred to the, okay, object which is referred by the emp2. So every object for the same class, you see, for the same class, name and experience values for different objects are different. The class is name. It is like a template. Using this template, we are able to create multiple objects. Every object has its own data. You see, here Arun Motor is there, Varun Dawat. Here 19 is there. Here the data is kept on changing, guys. Okay, for object to object. But the class is like a template or blueprint or factory using which these objects can be created, and every object can have its own data. That's what is a funda. Now, if I say emp1, okay, if I say console.log emp1 dot name, what will be printed? Arun Motor will be printed, or Varun Dawat will be printed. Here, emp1 is nothing but this emp1. Emp1 is referring to this object 1 where name is called Arun Motori. So Arun Motori should be printed here. If I write console.log emp2.experience, if I say like this, what will be printed? 19 will be printed or 11 will be printed. emp2. emp2 is referring to this memory address of this object where experience is 11. So it should print 11 here. Okay. emp1 name means Arun will be printed. Arun experience means 11 will be printed. And if I say emp1 dot employee details, okay, if I say employee details like this, if I call this method, okay, your name is Arun Motori for emp1. What are the details? Name is nothing but Arun Motori and experience is 19. So what will be printed? Your name is Arun Motori and your experience is 19 will be printed. But if I say emp2 dot employee details, if I say, okay, then what will be printed? emp2.employee details means emp2 is referring to this particular object where name is Varun Dawat and experience level. So what will be printed? Your name is Varun Dawat and your experience is 11 will be printed in the output console. Okay. This is what will happen, guys. Let's go here and go to the terminal and just click on new terminal and simply write down node space class hyphen demo.js. You see Arun Motori. When I say emp1.name, Arun Motori came. emp2.experience means emp2 is referring to this experience, so 11 will be printed here. But emp1 is refer name. Name is Arun Motori, we got printed. Employee details means your name is Arun Motori and your experience is 19 will be printed. Your name is Varun Dawat and your experience is 11 got printed. So this is how it will work, guys. Okay, with the help of class also we can create objects in JavaScript, guys. Okay. So when you create objects with the help of class, right, this looks very easy, smooth, and clear to understand, because if you are really from a Java programming background, right, this concept will be very easy for you to understand, and compared to other ways of creating the object in JavaScript, this way is very clean, neat, and all those stuff, and you can clearly see this particular thing as a template, and using this template we are creating multiple objects where each and every object is representing a real world entity, and accessing part is also very clear and all those stuff. So some people like to create objects using this class way, okay, class style. So with that note, I have properly explained how to create objects using class in JavaScript. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye bye. Hello all. Welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I'm going to cover the next topic, that is, can overloading a function possible in JavaScript? The answer is no. By default, in JavaScript, overloading of the functions is not possible. Okay, in JavaScript, overloading functions by default is not possible. What exactly is overloading? If you are coming from, you know, Java programming background, you already know that in a single class, if you create multiple functions having the same name but with a different number of parameter or different type of parameters, those are called as overloaded methods or functions, right? But in JavaScript, such kind of concept is not possible. Let me show you practically how overloading of the functions by default is not possible in JavaScript first. For that, let me launch Visual Studio Code. In Java programming, overloading of the functions or methods is possible, guys, but in JavaScript, it is not possible. So here I'll write overloading -demo.js. Let me create this file. And in this, let me create a function. I'll just name this function as fun A. Okay, I'll just name this function as fun A. And here I'll write nothing. Okay, I'll write nothing. I'll just here print, if this particular function is called, I'll just print out hi. Now I'll create one more function. If I write one more function, fun A, and here I'll just give something like name. Okay. You see, using the same name, I create another function, and here, but extra parameter is there. Okay. If I don't give the extra parameter, it's still possible, but here I'll give name. Okay. Now here console.log, I'll simply write hi plus name. Okay. Hi plus name. Now I'll create one more function again with the same name. Name of the function is same. You see, in generally, if you create such kind of functions having the same name in Java kind of programming language, these functions are going to be called as overloaded functions. Functions having the same name but differ in the number of parameters or type of the parameters in Java programming language are called as overloaded functions. But in JavaScript, these are not overloaded functions, guys. I'll tell you why these are not overloaded functions in a while. And here I'll give name comma experience. Name comma experience I'll give. And here I'll write console.log. I'll just write down hi. Okay, hi plus name. Then hi plus name. Your okay experience is plus experience, like this I'll write. After this I'll create one more function. You see how many overloaded functions I'm creating, just see here. How many overloaded functions I'm just creating, just see here. Function 1a, and here I'll write down name, then experience, then location. Okay, then here I'll write down console.log, and here I'll say hi. Then I'll write plus name plus dot your experience is plus experience and okay, here I'll write down your location is you are from, otherwise okay, you are from plus location, like this I'll write some functions. Okay, but if you can see here, this name of this function, this name of this function, this name of this function, this name of this function are same. If you have written such kind of functions in other programming languages like Java or something, right? Okay, this will be generally considered as a overloaded functions. Now if I call fun A without passing any arguments, which one need to be called? This one need to be called, or this one need to be called, or this one need to be called, this one need to be called. If you go for Java programming language, if you have written such kind of logic in Java programming language, if you call a particular function without passing the arguments, the function having the same name but without any parameters, okay, if you are not passing any arguments, the function without having this name but without parameters will be called generally if you are in Java programming language. But what will happen here in JavaScript? The latest function will be called no matter what. Here overloading of the overloading concepts of functions, overloading concept of function concepts. Okay, overloading function concepts is not there. Concept is not there in JavaScript. Hence, if you are creating multiple functions having the same name, even though they differ in the number of parameter or type of parameter, it will if you call that particular function having that name, it doesn't matter how many arguments are you are passing, but it will call the latest function in the code. It will not call the first function, guys. You'll get mistaken if you feel that the first function will be called. That is not going to happen in Java script. JavaScript will call the latest function no matter what. Let's go here and open the terminal here. And in the terminal, I'll just run this code. I'll simply say node space overloading hyphen demo. In JavaScript, by default, overloading is not possible. Overloading of the functions concept is not possible. Just run this code and see what is happening. You see? Hi, undefined. Name is undefined. You are not passing anything, right? This particular function is called. You thought hi will be printed, but here, what is getting printed? Hi, undefined. Hi, since we have not passed any argument as a name, nothing has been undefined is coming. Your experience is again undefined. You are from again in place of location undefined. You see, even though you are not passing any arguments here, you thought this will be called, but that is not going to happen in JavaScript. We'll call the latest function having this particular name out of all the functions. The function having the name and which is the latest function will be called, and here, okay, hi undefined, your experience is undefined, you are from undefined will be called. Okay. So guys, this is what will happen in JavaScript, but you really want to achieve overloading, then this is not the right way, guys. Okay, if you want to achieve the overloading in JavaScript, this is not the right way. So what you have to do here is let me create, overloading hyphen 2.js. Okay. In that case, instead of creating multiple functions having the same name which differ in the number of parameters here, what you have to do in that case here is you have to create a function, single function. I'll simply say fun A. Okay, fun A, and here I'll give all the parameters, possible parameters. Okay, that is the name, then experience, then location. Like this, I'll give. Okay, I'll give like this. I'll write if condition like this. Okay, so in JavaScript, directly overloading of the functions is not possible. If you want to get the result of the overloading with a single function in JavaScript, you have to write this kind of logic. Create a function, guys, with these parameters and simply write down if name. Okay, otherwise type of. Okay, just write. There are different techniques. I'm using one of the technique. Okay, this is one of the type of name equal to okay is equal to string double ampersand symbol. Okay, just give me a second. Double ampersand symbol. Now we need to write the next thing, guys. That is a type of experience. Okay, the next thing that I have to write here is type of experience. Just give me a second. Okay. Next one is type of experience equal to, okay, type of experience is equal to, if it is number, and last one, and type of location equal to, again, string. If you write like this, that means you are calling this particular function by passing three arguments, then only this will become true, 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 and this will be the result will be true, and you can print like this console.log hi plus name. You see, even though directly or by default overloading is not possible in JavaScript, but with this kind of technique, whatever I'm trying to explain here, with this technique, you can actually get that. Okay, your experience is plus experience. Okay, plus dot you are from last one plus location. You have to write the logic like this, guys, and here you have to write else if. Else if another condition you have tried, guys. Else if another condition you have tried. How to write this? Only these two things, okay? Else if only these two things. If only, for example, while calling this function, function calling statement has passed only these things, not location. In that case, you just have to write like this, okay? Just to save the time, I'm copy pasting, guys. Console.log hi name your experience is this much is enough. No need to print location now. Then else if, the next else if is only this part. If you are passing only the name you are passing, then you will be writing here, copy this part and just write down here console.log hi name. That is enough. You don't have to worry about this. Then finally else, if no arguments are being passed by calling this function, then last one, console.log, just print hi, that's it. Now call this function like this, fun a, like this, call this function like this, guys. We clear this out. Call the function like this and see, okay, here I'm passing 0 argument. So this will fail, this will fail, okay? No arguments will be passed to this parameter. So this will fail, this will fail, this will fail. Directly will go to the else block and hi will be printed. So here hi should be printed. It's like tweaking the overloading concept indirectly, guys. Directly it is not possible. So we are with this logic we are getting this done. Okay, overloading -2 dot js. You see hi got printed. What if I pass some name here? For example, if I pass my name Arun Moturi here, what will happen in this case? Since you are only passing this one, this will fail because all three items are not there. This will also fail because all three items are not there. This will pass because name string is possible. Hi, name, hi Arun Motri should be printed. Okay, if I run this, hi Arun Motri will be printed. What if I pass, apart from name, if I pass the experience on, okay, name and experience, if I pass, in this case, this will fail, but this will pass. Because you are passing name and experience, this condition will pass and it will print hi Arun Motri, your experience is 19 will be printed this time. You see, hi Arun Motri, your experience is 19. Then if you pass the location also, for example, if I pass the location, like say Hyderabad, like this, if I pass the location, in that case, the first condition itself will pass and remaining all conditions will be ignored. So here, if you run this code, hi Arun Motri, your experience is 19, you are from Hyderabad, okay? So indirectly, we have achieved the overloading concept of functions in JavaScript, though by default, in JavaScript, overloading concept is not possible, okay? So with that note, we are done with this session, guys. Can we overload a function? Can overloading a function possible in JavaScript? The answer is no. By default, it is not possible, but indirectly, by writing this kind of logic that I have demonstrated just now in this session, it is possible indirectly, but not directly, okay? So fine, guys. That's all from this session. So see you in the next session. Bye. Take care. Hello all, welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I'm going to cover the next topic, that is, can we overload constructors in JavaScript? The simple and straightforward answer for this question is no. It's not possible for us to overload constructors in JavaScript directly. Why? Because inside a class, when you create more than one constructor in JavaScript, you are going to get an error during the runtime. After running the code, you will get an error saying that you cannot create multiple constructors inside a class. Let me practically demonstrate this one for you so that you will understand how it is not possible for us to overload constructors in JavaScript, because we cannot create multiple constructors in a single class in JavaScript. For that, let me launch Visual Studio Code, and in this, let me create a file, JavaScript file. Let me name this as demo.js. Once I create that, let me create a class space, name of the class. Let's say I'll just name this as car class. You can give any name here, that's okay. Inside this car class, I'm going to create a constructor like this, okay? So in JavaScript, inside a class, if when you create a constructor, you have to use this constructor keyword, circular brackets, starting and ending of the constructor. And here, simply I'll say hi. Okay. Then you see, with one constructor, it is okay, guys. With one constructor, you will not get any problem. You see, in this particular class, there is only one constructor. And in this kind of situation, when I create an object for this class, new car like this, and if I say c1 is equal to and const, okay, const c1 is equal like this, if I write, you see this constructor will be called and this particular code inside the constructor will be executed and hi will be printed without any problem in this particular code. So here if I say node space demo.js, I'll get hi printed in the output console because here there is only one constructor. What if I want to overload this constructor by creating another constructor? Okay, constructor like this I'll create, and you see And to you see, if you are coming from different programming backgrounds like Java or whatever it is, you can actually overload the constructors by giving them a different number of parameters or different type of parameters. Let me give here something like company. Okay. And here if I say console.log, console.log, okay, I'll just say, I'll just print company here. Okay. I'll just print company here. So now there are more than one constructor. That means I'm trying to overload this constructor with this constructor. But in JavaScript, inside a single class, you cannot have multiple constructors, or constructor overloading is not possible. Even though here, if I give, let's say Honda or something, something if I give here, and if I run this code, you are going to get an error during runtime. That is, a class may have only one constructor. Whether you pass this or whether you don't pass this, you are going to get this error, guys. The same error you will get this time. A class may only have one constructor. You cannot have multiple constructors. So one of these constructors you have to remove, guys. Okay, let me remove this constructor, and this is going to work fine again. This is going to work fine again, because inside a class you cannot have multiple constructors, and constructor overloading is, that's the reason constructor overloading is not possible in JavaScript. So hope guys you understood why constructor overloading is not possible in JavaScript. The reason, our answer behind that is, inside a single class in JavaScript, you can create only one constructor. More than one constructor if you create during the runtime, you will get this kind of error saying a class may have only one constructor. Class may have one constructor. Okay. So that's all for this session. See you in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye.